decision.
Yep, will of course increase parity on the Corki that we do see ever so often now in the mid lane alongside that Azir. A lot of junglers are open as well, the likes of the Jarvan. I know Caedrel would love to get his hands on, or perhaps even the Sejuani for Trick. These are all good tools for them, but I like that even better, Medic.
That is a perfect display of talent. Great display of
Supreme.
Talent. That's the one.
Yikes.
Yeah, I messed that one up.
We're not to a good start.
Okay, I'm not a quick shot, but Qiyana locked in first for XL here. I'm very much looking forward to seeing who takes that. We've seen it top, we've seen it mid. I've heard rumblings as to jungle Qiyana as well, but Karma left up. Yumi's still available in this pick ban as well, but Tahm Kench will be the first lock for Schalke.
Yeah, nice here to see IgNar on that Tahm Kench. We saw Mystiques use it rather well in recent memory here, but of course, this will just give a whole lot of survivability and safety now to the Schalke squad, depending on where they put this Karma.
And when you have a team that so often relies on their AD carry to win them games, having this much utility to protect that AD carry is never a bad thing. We'll see Upset probably on one of his signature picks, looking at the Ezreal, and if he can get that, that's an incredibly powerful comp for Schalke already.
Yeah, and the global ability of Tahm Kench to roam around the map, so IgNar and Trick can team up together, try to make plays in other lanes is always going to be valuable. Now a Braum locked in by the side of Excel. I want to know if they want to pick up the Ezreal for themselves, go for a very safe 2 versus 2 that doesn't require a whole lot of attention, while Caedrel can spend more time around whichever lane this Qiyana goes into.
What are your other options though? Because you could go for something more aggressive in the bottom lane, like a Lucian or even a Varus.
The Varus would be interesting here. Typically you see Varus feel a little bit bad against the Tahm Kench, because Tahm Kench go ahead and gobble up any of the targets that ultimate does go down on towards. So I like the Sivir instead. Similar idea here towards that Ezreal, getting that crit scaling in towards the late game, as well as that AoE team fight damage is going to be very, very powerful if Excel can build up a strong tank front line.
They do have a very strong team fighting comp. Qiyana, an AD assassin, not usually great at team fighting, but because of her ultimate, that supreme display of talent, she works so well. Schalke here will lock in the Aatrox. Expect that to be going mid, although some jungle Aatroxes have been seen around the world.
Yep, they definitely have been. They could also just try to move this Aatrox around as a flex pick alongside that Qiyana, just try to match it if they like that matchup for themselves. Now, banning away the Corki themselves, actually, thinking that this Qiyana doesn't necessarily have to go into the mid lane. I do like that ban here. We did see Mickey have a very good performance on that Corki in Excel's only win of the split so far against SK.
That we did. Now Excel looking for their next bans. I'd love to see Ezreal taken away here from Upset. Olaf will be the first ban. Trick not going to pick its hands on that. Champions played it twice, lost twice on it so far this split, but Excel are a little bit afraid of the Ragnarocking jungler coming out from the side of Schalke. Schalke taking their time. This second set of bans have been a little bit slower, a little bit more measured from both these teams.
Yeah, they're trying to feel each other out at the moment. A lot of times, too, when teams get towards that 5th ban, they're like, wait a second, what do we actually need to remove? What are some counter pick options that we can take off the board? For Schalke, that would be the ranged Jace in the top lane, and we're sort of expecting, looking at their draft right now, this Karma, could go up into the top lane for Odoamne. We haven't seen Schalke actually play this pick so far this split, but a lot of our other teams in the league have preferred to put it up there as opposed to slotting that into mid.
Yeah, definitely agree with that choice. We still wonder pilot it to great effect. There's the Ashe ban away from Upset. It does still leave him the Ezreal if he wants to pick that up. It's only played it once so far this split, but so powerful on it, and with a Sylas slipping his way all the way through picks and bans, expect that to be going in the jungle.
Yeah, I think now Excel might want to pick up that Jarvan for themselves, not only because it's a very strong early game jungler that can maybe get out a little bit faster in towards ganks than the likes of a Sylas on the other side, but also could set up for a big Qiyana ultimate. You can use that wall and that synergy very effectively, but regardless, we know Excel want team fight power, and either the Jarvan or the Sejuani could fit that build quite nicely.
Yeah, Sejuani so powerful, especially with these melee laners. Qiyana, very easy to set up ganks because you can steal away the water, then get the stun that we saw from VODS's guide earlier on, alongside having the stun coming out from the Sejuani. It's a very difficult lane to play into. We'd like to see a little bit more magic damage from this XL comp, though. At the moment, they have a lot of AD, which means I do not think we'll have a Riven as the final pick.
I mean, even if they had all AP, I would be very surprised to see the Riven locked in. They will still go pretty heavy on the AD. There's not, hard tanks on the other side with Schalke that would stack a lot of armor, but they can definitely pick up 1 or 2 items, which will be very, very effective against this Excel composition.
That they can. It's going to be very difficult, especially if that Karma goes down like the Iceborne Gauntlet route. That's a very hard champion to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, even give me an Ezreal right now and get an Iceborne Gauntlet right there. You can just have quasi-tanks all across the board, and that's Upset's best champion.
And it will be locked in for Schalke. Predicted it at the start of pick ban. Not really too much of a Nostradamus-like prediction to say that Upset's going to fall back to his Ezreal.
I thought I was a genius.
But you are a genius, Ender. You can solve a Rubik's Cube with one hand. That's pretty impressive. Ender does have a YouTube channel where he solves Rubik's Cubes. If you can find it, please link it
It's
to
like
me.
10-year-old me, by the way. You'll never find it.
Still can't find it. Look for the ears. We'll see if you can find it. But tell me what these compositions are trying to do here, Ender.
Well, I think both sides actually have a lot of tools to try and work with in a 5v5 team fight, right? Excel is very straightforward. You have a Qiyana and a Sejuani to get things going. The Sivir to also speed you up and get into the fray. Whereas Schalke, they're going to be looking to be very mobile and to out-survive you in team fights. They have a lot of shielding. They have a lot of healing. They have very high mobility. So if they can sort of dodge the initial engage from Excel, that's where their team is really going to be able to turn it around and thrive.
So it's a disengage, re-engage composition coming out here from Schalke. XL will be trying to take fights on their terms. Schalke trying to avoid the first fray and then get back into the action. On historic form, on form in Summer Split, you have to give this game to Schalke, but XL have shown they can play spoiler. They've had some very strong early games, like teams versus, like Fnatic, like Origin. They have challenged, but they've never found that perfect execution. They've never really found that supreme display of talent that can take them to the victory. The question is, can they do that today? For more on the draft, though, Law is actually standing by with Schalke's coach.
Dylan, I noticed that Abbedagge and Mickey share a lot of picks in the mid lane. So how did this impact picks and ban coming in today?
Actually, he's playing Qiyana, right? So he's been playing it a lot, we know from our scouting. I think it shouldn't be the most useful, playing an AD assassin against 5 champs that can build armor, but it does have a lot of snowball potential, so we'll see.
Any hints on how to approach Excel in the early game?
I think Caedrel's kind of an explosive player. Like, he has good early games quite often. So I think if we just play solid and don't take any huge risks, we'll be fine.
All right, well, we'll see that.
Yeah.
Good luck, and back to the Rift.
Thank you very much, Law. Now, something we do need to pick up on straight away. Expect has no items. Not sure if he has noticed as of yet. He hasn't backed. Maybe
he's running all the way back to base.
Maybe he's forgotten that you can teleport. It's like Dota.
Expect, no.
Hasn't realized that he's got no
Although,
items.
to be fair, Rookie did this in the World Finals, and then they won. So maybe this is just what Excel need to turn everything around.
If it is, Ender, I will praise you to the nines. I will sing your praises. I will give away my title currently of Superior Analyst and hand it to you. But I do not think this is what Expect wants, especially in a lane that's going to harass him so much.
Well, this is really rough for Expect because, yes, you're going to be harassed. You don't have something like, you know, a Doran shield to try and absorb some of that damage. But also, typically when you see Renekton plus Sejuani, especially against a ranged champion in the top lane, you're looking for a level 3, a level 4 gank around this lane to try and use that CC and get that kill.
Oh, that's the worst time to realize. He realized, like, oh.
Does he know?
Does he know? I don't think he knows. That could just be I'm backing in the bush because that's what you do while you're waiting for someone to come in the lane. We'll see if anyone on his team calls it out as well, because you have to think Caedrel won't gank if this is the state of the affairs in top lane. Now he's already forced away by Odoamne, who's just like, okay, cool. I get some free lane harass. Trick's actually started on the top side of the map here as well.
Yeah, mid lane too, you see a pretty big advantage for Abbedagge at level 1. Typically, we see Qiyana struggle in these early levels until you have your Q and your W. That means you can reset for some damage. But even throughout the early laning phase, against a champion like Aatrox that can take all these trades against you, usually that matchup is going to be very successful for Abbedagge's side.
And we did wonder if the Aatrox was a direct counter to the Qiyana, if he would follow her around. That seems to be what's happening here. And the Qiyana being picked up in her traditional mid-lane role. Up in the top lane, there's about an 8 CS lead already for Odoamne over Expect, who just dashes and dives in. But Odoamne already actually has this little ward here to spot out if Caedrel looks for a gank.
But we'll definitely see him. Caedrel's pathing, though, is looking like he wants to come up towards this top side. Expect should hit level 3 off the end of this wave right here, which would give him that stun, the access to the W. He also has a creep wave here to try and close that gap. But again, he's taken down so low that I don't actually think you can make this play and fully commit unless he's able to heal up some more.
He uses his Fury there to just farm up the minions under the wave. I think now he realizes that this is not the best of shapes. Maybe backing away for a 900 gold item. I don't think that's the case, but we'll see.
Get yourself a
Wanna give
pickaxe,
him the-
man.
yeah, if he gets
Treat yourself.
Okay, he got a Doran shield, so I do not think that was at all intentional from Expect, but now he's back in the lane and in an okay spot. Does mean Schalke have the teleport advantage. Caedrel looking towards mid as Abbedagge gets the knock up on Mickey. Mickey's still looking for that edge of Ishtar. Will land it with a little bit of extra damage on the back end. Trick now towards mid as well, both junglers grouping up.
Yeah, Caedrel's been waiting here for a while because he knows with Mickey pushing out this lane, it's a very good time for Trick to look for a gank. He's cleared out almost all of his jungle. The Scuttle Crab just spawned, so both junglers said, wait a second, the other jungler is probably there. We're going to hug, but we're not going to fully commit.
Caedrel now looking up towards top. This is the gank we expected just a little bit earlier. Odoamne realizes straight away and uses the Inspire on himself, that shield to get away. Back towards his tower. Caedrel backs away, and neither jungler has found purchase on the game as of yet.
Yeah, Caedrel has to base here because the wave is pushing back in towards Odoamne's side. Up top lane, there's an extra ranged minion that's going to be doing a lot of work to try and push in this wave. So Expect going to shove that all the way in and then look for another reset, which is a little bit unlucky for him. He's going back twice, but now bot lane, it's a two-man gank.
IgNar and Trick teaming up. We've seen them do this often before. The Chain Lash comes out. Heal already used. Jessica will get the spell shield off, and although the Devour's going to land onto Mystiques, he can just flash away. Good escape there by the XL bot lane.
Jessica has the TP, so he can go back to base and TP back in if he wants to. But right now, this lane, as we mentioned, is shoving out on the side of Excel. Now on bot side, so Caedrel off of the reset has his red smite now, so any 3v3 should look much better for the side of Excel rather. Upset very low on mana too, so this will give control back to Excel down bot.
Both the times Caedrel's looked for a gank, he's been caught out on a Tribush ward. Schalke doing a good job of tracking the enemy jungler early on.
Yeah, Schalke did a fantastic job there, you know, with Trick and IgNar teaming up and putting down all that deep vision. It's not even as shallow as that Tribrush. That one just times out. It's actually a very deep ward on the Krug camp as well for both of these teams. Caedrel also put this ward down himself, so both teams are going to have very good awareness of where the opposite jungler is, and that should mean we're not going to see too much action for a little while.
So the expectation is here that Caedrel just comes in to push out the wave. You really often see this when one mid laner has a teleport and the other one doesn't. Mickey's gone Ignite, and so because Abbedagge's been able to back away, TP back into the lane is in an awful position for Mickey. He needs his jungler to come help.
Exactly, and I also think Caedrel just isn't going to be able to do too much work until he hits level 6. You know, there was an early window for him to gank top lane. That has probably passed by now. It's very risky to go for that trade if you don't have knowledge of where the enemy jungler is at the moment. So until he hits level 6, that's when we could see him try to make that big play. Maybe around that middle lane where Mickey has been taking some actually very good trades and up 10 CS.
And he is level 6 hit for Abbedagge though, so Mickey's still just a little bit behind in terms of experience. The control ward spots out Trick as he came towards that mid lane. Meanwhile, in the top lane, a fight has begun as Odoamne forces Expect back. Once again, a slight experience advantage, meaning that the Schalke man is level 6.
Yeah, well, that fight was going on top lane. I was actually watching this mid lane. Mickey, interestingly enough, he was 1 minion away from hitting level 6, so he picked up the Water Blade to look for an all-in as Abbedagge was pushing the lane. Abbedagge didn't put himself in vulnerability, but now top.
Great timing on the gank. Expect's gonna flash in. The stun should connect here from Caedrel, easy enough, and that is first blood to XL. Caedrel finds the gank he's been looking for.
And just perfect timing there too, as Trick recalls the second Caedrel flips over that wall. Odoamne could not react from the point-and-click CC coming in from Expect. Great timing there.
And who do you look to for XL in the early game? It's always Caedrel. It's always been Caedrel. He finds the gank that he's been looking for this entire game, and it gets XL back even in terms of gold because they were starting to slip behind.
Yeah, now without a flash on Odoamne, Caedrel could hit level 6 and look for a play himself. Right now they do see Trick starting up this Ocean Drake down towards that bottom side, and he is going to be able to get there, I do feel like.
Yeah, I think he should be able to get this, but I want to ask, how impactful is an Ocean Drake in games like this? Because it's so different in different games. Like, how much does the mana sustain and the health sustain actually give Schalke here?
I mean, I think every time you see an Ocean Drake taken in the early game, it's always going to be impactful in lane here. Now, the question is, do Excel want to fight over this? Trick has already been taken down very low.
Mickey jumps in! That's a supreme display of talent! But IgNar's there with a flash devour. Trick forced away, ticking down with the Ignite. Upset down towards the bottom side of the hit this. Look at him, he's slinging out the spells.
Upset still looking for the damage, does not connect there on the true shot barrage, but flashes forward for the kill.
Mystique solo, one more shot would take him out. Caedrel acting as a bodyguard.
He has no mana.
Blocking. He has no mana. T1 set it to Freak, and there you could say it up to Upset as well. No mana on the Ezreal means that XL get out alive.
Everyone ends up surviving right there, including the Ocean Drake. Schalke were not willing to commit on towards that, and you have to take stock of what just happened because Schalke lost almost everything. 3 flashes from mid and both bot laners, as well as that cleanse. Sing this one more time. It's a beautiful engage there from Mickey to Chuck. Trick into the wall and get that 3 or 4 man supreme display of talent. Abbedagge had a lot of damage to maybe try and look to turn this one around, but the rest of the team was so low, he wasn't willing to commit forward in towards that engage, and it was just one more auto that Upset needed to try and turn it around.
Just short on mana, went Sheen first, not the Tear, so didn't have that little bit of an extra pool on the Ezreal, but the Sheen, of course, gave him so much more damage in the fight. I don't think it would have turned out differently if he had gone for the Tear of the Goddess first. But let's reevaluate exactly where we are. 100 gold the difference between these two teams, 9 minutes in. XL did get first blood, but Expect is still behind in that top lane. As expected in the matchup, he is falling behind in times of farm.
Yeah, because he did get that first blood, though, it will be dead even in terms of overall gold, so he's feeling comfortable at the moment. We do need to take stock of Odoamne's items, though. He does have that Glacial Shroud, so it does look like he is building towards the Iceborne Gauntlet to give him more survivability in this lane, and to go for that tank Karma build that's everyone's nightmare in solo queue.
And it should be XL's nightmare here as well, because they don't really have any damage apart from physical. But the flash in from Caedrel, there's the lockdown, you said it. No flash on the Karma makes it an easy gank for XL.
Very nicely done there. One more time, Caedrel comes into the top lane knowing the capabilities of his champion there with no flash on Odoamne. Caedrel just finding his mark one more time. He continues to be the consistent factor in XL's good early game performances.
That he does. Schalke rocked back a little bit, but they'll know they're still pretty much in this game. Not too far behind at all. In fact, ahead in terms of gold because of the Kleptomancy down towards that bottom lane.
Yeah, and a side effect of that gank, too, is now 3 turret plates secured for Expect. I believe all of those are solo. So that's 480 more gold than you should be getting in this matchup, even though you are getting bullied out in this lane by a ranged Karma. It's one of the biggest weaknesses of playing these ranged champions in the top lane is that if you lose flash and have to push up, you are so vulnerable.
Trick almost face check there into Caedrel, will steal away his ultimate, and the hijack means that Trick will have that Glacial Prism for the next fight. Both teams seem to be a little bit dissuaded from going towards the Dragon now after that last fight happened down towards that side. But I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that XL only have physical damage, the fact they don't really have any magic damage on their side, because whenever I see a comp like this, whenever I play a comp like this in solo queue, I know we're on a timer.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the biggest concern for Excel comes down more to Mickey than anyone else, because you think about how you build the Qiyana, it's very much about going for a lethality. And even if Schalke just build a little bit of armor, which we already see they're going for, even on their ranged champions, they're already going for Iceborne Gauntlets. So that's just going to be super, super effective at just cutting through and making items like Serrated Dirk almost useless for Mickey.
Ocean Drake for Schalke is their prize because Caedrel is looking for a gank up towards top side, but Odoamne's roamed down. He's going to get the lockdown onto Mickey. No real escape for him, trying to dodge away. Supreme display of talent gets the stun onto Odo. He's looking for the blast cone.
Yeah, and Mickey just has to buy time walking up here towards Caedrel and Expect. They might look to turn this one around.
Abbedagge is going to dash across the wall, but Odoamne does not know they're there. Instead, they go for Abbedagge. The stun lock is big. He's CC'd up. The ignite goes down, and now Odoamne is the next target. Glacial Prism stolen away with a hijack as Trick jumps in towards Mickey. He's looking for the fight. He'll take him out, but now is Odoamne in trouble.
Odoamne trying to run from these two players. Trick is on the way, though. They might be able to turn this back around.
Flash in, stunned up. The CC coming out from XL is perfect, and now Trick is caught in the midst of 2, but he takes down 1. Expect looking for the dive against Trick underneath the tower. G2 member versus G2 member, and Trick is the one that comes out on top. Schalke win the fight.
Trick just styling on him there with the golden underneath the tower. Excellent bait coming out from him, and Schalke, after fully committing towards that fight, when it looked like it was not going their way, they knew there was a little bit of overconfidence there from Excel. They were going to pick up the kills.
They were. Mickey was not expecting Odoamne to be down here. Manages to escape really well, though.
Yeah, and you can see Mickey sort of this hesitation where he goes over the wall back towards Schalke. That actually ends up meaning he takes more damage in this trade, and he's just trying to play survival while the rest of Excel sit in this bush and get the instant kill on towards Abbedagge. Now follow Trick during this fight because he lands the stun onto Expect to buy Odoamne time. Then knowing Mickey is fully isolated, Trick can then flash over the wall, get that kill, and then re-enter this fight, which you see low HP bars on the side of Excel. Those are a little bit of a trap because Renekton does so much damage in these early trades, but you can't really out-damage a turret, buddy.
Yeah, Trick goes golden, has a little think about the days these two players played on G2 together, and then sees expect, execute to the tower. This is Trick's point of view. You can see him coming across. He's actually very fortunate here. Pings on Caedrel, but he was almost stunned up here by Caedrel. Just gets him out before he goes down.
Yeah, and his cooldown's just about to come up there, so very nicely done by him in order to secure that kill. Now we're actually seeing a bit of an engage. So we come out of this replay. The ultimate there used by Trick. He had stolen Mickey's supreme display of talent, but wasn't able to connect it on towards Caedrel.
There's a lot of good ultimates for him to steal here.
Oh, yeah.
Dominus, Supreme Display of Talent, Glacial Fissure on every ultimate from the side of XL is one you'd be pretty happy to pick up. Now, Rift Herald was secured by XL earlier on during those replays, and now they can look to take this top tower. It's where XL have put the pressure on. It's where they've been trying to put Schalke under just a little bit of hurt.
Yeah, that's going to be that full turret just before 14 minutes too, so expect getting a lot of damage there. Now Abbedagge finding the flank on bot.
Mystiques will land the Glacial Fissure, but here comes Abbedagge. IgNar stepping forward with the thick skin. Mystiques goes gold and stops the fight for a second. The counter teleport's coming in. Mystiques is out and Abbedagge will get the reset. Odoamne's here to join the fight. Expect trying to jump forward, trying to get onto IgNar, but IgNar flashes away. Abbedagge underneath the tower. Jessica goes gold and Trick taking it up. The true shot barrage will connect and Upset takes the kill. Abbedagge is still there. XL fall to pieces under the tower.
Schalke get everything right there, bringing 5 members down to try and trade for this tower. Meanwhile, up top side, Caedrel escorting the Herald in, gets 2 towers for the side of XL. They're going to be doing just fine in gold as Mickey tries to hold on to the turret, but just can't make it happen.
I think that was, it's okay. He survives, but a little bit greedy. Rift Herald gets a 3rd charge up there in the top lane. Probably won't amount to too much this early on, because to get towards that tower, you really have to overextend in that top side if you're XL, but getting as many charges in as possible is always a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder now if Schalke sends someone else to deal with the farm up in the top lane, because this Karma could be very vulnerable. They're going to have to do a lot of work to put wards in towards their topside jungle, because usually that inner tower is alive for much longer, so you can walk up to a position where Odoamne is now very comfortably, even if you don't have wards. But now losing that tower, it's a much longer walk back towards the safety of that turret, so Schalke are going to have to spend a little bit more time getting vision on that side for him.
Well, they are. We'll have another look at this fight. It goes on for ages, but Schalke, the team there, are just that little bit quicker, and the fact you have things like the thick skin to tank up the tower makes it a lot easier for them to execute this dive.
Yeah, IgNar taking a lot of shots right there, using the last few seconds of his shield, and Abbedagge, of course, with the big damage, gets the reset, so that means revive, and honestly, just a very good job from Schalke to juggle aggro here. Trick hops in for a couple of shots, then that trades over towards Odoamne, who being ranged just sits on the edge of turret until he can leave. So yes, they had a numbers advantage. Yes, they were always going to win that tower dive, but Schalke had very clear communication within that heated moment so that they wouldn't lose any members.
It's very good juggling of the tower aggro. Currently sitting at 5 and 4, Schalke are in the playoff berths at the moment, but remember last split, we saw them go 7 and 2 in the first half, off to an explosive start there, and then crumble and not even make it into playoffs. Here they're looking a lot stronger, but the Glacial Prison will land on Abbedagge. He's popped a World Ender for a little bit of movement speed. The Tahm Kench coming in as well, but Mickey's jumped forward, Supreme Display of Talent will get the stuns on, but he doesn't want to go any further.
XL not fully able to find that fight right there because the Abyssal Voyage coming in from IgNar. Still, XL do have the inside track on mid lane, so they will continue to push through that lane. They have more members here. Oh, whoa!
I think he was just backing on a ward. Didn't expect them to come in. I'm sure we'll have another look at that, or you can have a quick preview on your monitor. Now XL will go for the Mountain Drake. And should be pretty easy secure for them. In a 5v4, you have to think they take the win. Trick actually going to step straight into Mystiques. Here, Caedrel flashing forward. They're looking for the stun. Expect on towards the backline. And now XL will take the fight. They're going to continue pushing forward.
Very nicely done there from XL, getting yet another kill. 2 members fall from Schalke, and this will mean the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, easy enough secure for them here. In a 5v3, they are definitely in the ascendancy, and we always talk about the XL early game. We mentioned it in pick and ban. It's looking strong once again. Schalke have had their fight back. They put a couple of jabs into the face of XL, but XL keep coming back up off the mat.
Yeah, they come back with a heavy haymaker right there. See this fight one more time, because it starts off Abbedagge really greeting right now to try and get some damage down on towards that Rift Herald. Now he knows the Tahm Kench ult is going to come in, and that's ultimately what saves him from the start. because the rest of Excel, there's just no damage to try and follow up. Then he hops over this wall. There's this cutesy little ward that was placed a little while ago by Excel. No vision to spot Caedrel and Mickey collapsing onto him, and no time to react.
It's the power of Audacity as well, being able to jump across some of those walls. Trick not expecting this.
Yeah, I mean, I love the positioning there from Mystique's. Almost everyone would predict the Braum to be sitting in the pit, so he can throw up his wall and protect if Schalke were trying to walk in and find a fight. Instead, he sits inside the enemy jungle, comes around that wall, so there's almost no time for Trick to see that anyone's there. That means the concussive blows go down, and it's a very easy kill for Excel.
18 minutes in, pretty much odds even between these teams. If it was a boxing match at the moment, you'd think it was going to points, but looking compositionally, I have to say that XL seem like a boxer who's going to run out of steam pretty soon. They have a lot of AD, there's a lot of armor now being started to stack up on the side of Schalke with the Iceborne Gauntlets, with the Ninja Tabis. It becomes very hard to work your way through this team.
I think that's always going to be a concern here for Excel, but the benefit of their composition is it's very clear when they can find their fights. You know, Sivir starts off with an ultimate, and then you let Caedrel do the work with the engage. So for Excel, it's always about finding that one or two members right off the bat, getting that big AoE damage down to wipe the fight, because then you have the numbers advantage like they're trying here.
Yeah, looking for the fight, but Caedrel will just force them away. Really nothing to fight for. Down towards this bottom side, a bit of vision control, but nothing too monumental as the Dragon has fallen. Abbedagge is going to get tower in the top lane as he's split pushing up in the top lane.
Yeah, so just a moment ago, that's where he is.
Good
yes,
job.
he is, Medic. Just a moment ago, Excel actually had two members down towards this bottom lane. Now they're sending Mickey up top to pick up the CS, while Sivir gives up control over mid. So this is an interesting call by them. I think they were trying to get more members down on bottom lane so they could walk forward and hit this turret as the minion waves came in, but they ended up calling off the play after getting that deep vision and losing the opportunity to actually knock out that tower, even though there was no minion wave in the mid lane that they would have actually lost the contest over.
Yeah, it looks like the team's actually splitting the map just a little bit at the moment as XL are down towards the bottom side and there's more players for Schalke up towards top. Trick looking to steal away at Odoamne here, has the chain lash, but doesn't want to hijack any of those abilities from XL, and will just back away. With Baron on the cards in 15 seconds, getting vision control around here is incredibly impactful for you, and I assume we'll see Caedrel start to use that Oracle's Lens and see if he can sweep out some of this area. It's actually still on cooldown. I thought
For a little while.
I thought it was about to come off. I thought the lines had combined, but they hadn't. So
Those lines are so far apart.
Yeah, but one of them was hidden behind the three. Okay, let's talk about League of Legends. Let's not talk about my inability to see the spectator. There's a reason I wear glasses. But right now, Schalke seem very content just clearing out waves, pushing out, waiting for 3 items, 2.5 items on most of these carries before they really want to take a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at Schalke's composition, there's no more important stat than cooldown reduction. Actually, you look at top lane, you know, Karma having access to multiple shields for the speed ups, the slow on Q is also very important. Sylas too, all these champions rely on having their spells come back up so they can be mobile, so they can get their shielding or healing effects off very quickly, and their items are coming through now, right? Because Karma should be sitting on, let me double check, that's 40% CDR now too, because she has the Transcendence. Ezreal as well, going to be sitting 35 at the moment, so all these champions are approaching that CDR cap, and once they hit that, it makes these fights where they need to dodge away from Excel at the start and then turn things around a lot easier for them, because they just can access those spells so much quicker.
Yeah, when you have multiple Inspires in a fight, when you have multiple, well, probably not Devours in a fight, but when you have multiple Mystic Shots to push out as well, very hard for XL to find that single pick, because as soon as you pick someone, they're shielded up, they're devoured, everyone is able to disengage, and then Schalke can just step forward once you've used all of those engaged tools.
Exactly. So we were talking about that tower in the bottom lane just a moment ago. This time XL do make that play. They send 3 people mid while top lane was already pushed out, and then 2 people down bottom side. Well, Schalke were sort of spread to all 3 lanes. So again, they give up some control over mid, but they can make a big play down bot.
He's going to jump the wall, dodges away from the supreme display of talent. More of a miss from Mickey than a dodge, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The rest of Schalke are on their way down. Mickey just slowed up, can't really do too much against Odoamne, who continued to shield and heal and managed to dodge around. Abbedagge here now, and Mickey's going to get caught out. No way for him to survive. Although, at the moment he's dodging way. Upset steps forward, Bilgewater Cutlass for the kill, and Schalke get 1.
Yeah, Mickey's only job there was try and stay alive for as long as possible. The rest of his team pushed down towards that middle lane.
Look at this TP, Ender. It's going behind them. XL gonna back straight into the face of Abbedagge on the hunt used by Jeskla here. Mystique's trying to get the stun lock onto him. Abbedagge flashes forward, can't dash across the wall, but Trick is still on the chase. Odoamne there as well with IgNar, who's chasing down Caedrel. Looking for the tongue lash, can't quite land it. Mystique's with a great block. Odo flashing forward, look at IgNar down.
IgNar gets the devour, chucks Caedrel over the wall. Now Odoamne and the rest of Schalke are going in.
Expect joins the fight. The cold Meek will take down one, but can he do any more? Because he's in a 4v1. Jeskla lashed down towards the bottom side. Upset takes him down, and Expect was not there in time. Schalke surround him and take him out.
Schalke chase Excel all the way across the map right there, and they're going to turn their eyes on towards the Baron.
What a play there by Schalke. The TP, expecting them to back up towards the top lane, the catch, and then the chase down. I thought when Expect joined the fray, they'd be able to take the fight, but they just couldn't do it.
I mean, you just cannot escape from this team. They will run you down. You cannot be faster than Karma. Multiple Inspires going on towards the entire team. Ezreal too with that Iceborne Gauntlet to slow you down and give you no option out of this fight. Again, at the start, it was this play in our Alienware replay that Mickey gets caught out. They tried to make the play too far forward on towards Odoamne. Then he just has to try and buy as much time as he possibly can. Now Schalke, they realize it's a 5 versus 4 situation, 5v3 even with that Renekton going for a base. And Excel, because they walked up to hit this tower, they couldn't retreat towards their own. So Abbedagge comes in on this flank TP, puts Jeskla in a very poor position where now he must run away, and the rest of his team is just coming, trying to buy space, trying to give him a little bit more room to get this escape off. The rest of Schalke comes down for the easy kills.
That was really good from IgNar as well. He landed the third pot of his passive, then immediately QSS's the Glacial Wisdom, flashes in, gets the Devour, and makes sure Caedrel has nowhere to go. Expect, although he is a very beefy alligator at the moment, cannot do too much against 4 players from Schalke.
And all in all, this ends up being a very early Baron for this Schalke team. Yes, they had a lead going into the 20-minute mark, but that has now gotten much bigger. 4,500 gold at the moment. There's still turrets for them to lock in on as well. Now they have the ability to try and pressure down towards this mid lane tower, knock this one out, and then just continue to roam around between these 2 lanes and try to knock out that next line of towers.
This mid lane outer tower shouldn't be long for Summoner's Rift. 6,000 gold lead now for Schalke, or 5,000 at the moment. Jessica's going to tank up that Mystic Shot with the Spell Shield, but there's still a cannon minion here just pushing in and upset aggressively Arcane Shield.
I mean, it's so easy for them to siege these towers, right? Because you have Ezreal, who already has that added safety and mobility, but also just Karma shields on top of him.
Upset. Can't quite find Zesko. Is he on the hunt away? True Shot Barrage will not connect. Mystique will block it up anyway with the Unbreakable, but tower will be forfeit here for XL. They have to hard engage at some point. You can't keep fighting like this against a team that can just poke you down.
I think at this point, XL just need to try and clear the waves as best they can. A minute and a half is all they have to last through. If they can keep their inhibitor towers up, that will be success for them. Stay on your base for the time being, because right now, Schalke are so strong. Look at those items. 3 items on Ezreal. Even just trying to catch him out, especially with the armor boots as well. It's so hard to actually single anyone out on the Schalke squad.
But with Schalke having an Infernal Dragon, having a 7,000 gold lead now, they're not going to get any weaker. Like, as much as we can say XL have to wait it out, at some point you do have to pull the trigger because Schalke have the better comp to poke you from range. If you don't go for a fight, you're just going to get chunked out piece by piece.
I think what Excel just needs to do right now is, yes, it doesn't necessarily get better for you, but at this moment in the game, you're just hopelessly outgunned in terms of itemization. And you think about it, Schalke realistically shouldn't be able to close this game until the second Baron buff comes through. So if you give yourself some time to maybe get your next item on towards Mickey, on towards Jessica, you can do something, but expect...
Hello!
Hey, buddy.
Jump straight across the wall, immediately devoured, spat out into the team. Expect thought he was being sneaky, but you can't sneak away from IgNar when he is waiting round the corner. Schalke will look for their 3rd tower of this push, 4th tower actually, of this Baron push.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, Mickey is still in that bottom lane, no teleport on this Qiyana, so Schalke that only have 10 seconds left on Baron, they're going to get the inhibitor.
Maybe thinking back to the back door of a couple of last game against SK, but this game not going to manage to do it. Actually, last week against SK, so Schalke take the inhibitor tower. You wanted XL to hold on to it, but without your Qiyana, you just can't do it. Inhib will fall, and now Schalke looking for mid inhib tower as well. XL's base is falling to pieces. Schalke being the one to land the haymaker, and now they're looking looking for a final uppercut as they go in for the fight. Mickey there with a supreme display of talent, but Trick is devoured up by IgNar. Abbedagge on the front line, pushing forward. Here goes Upset jumping in.
Upset stunned up. Can they get him? That's a shutdown on towards Mickey. Teleporting in from Expect on the side as well. XL must chase down Schalke. They must get kills.
1,000 gold goes straight into the hands of XL, but they want a little bit more. Expect going forward. Abbedagge devoured up by IgNar, spat out towards the back of the fight, but XL aren't done yet. Mickey's down towards the bottom side of it. He's looking for a flank as Odo and Trick go straight into his waiting arms, but can Mickey take this fight? Odo there with the root. Jessica coming in. Mickey almost down. Odo will take him. Trick able to escape for the moment as well with the on the hunt. Expect now jumping forward, not looking for anything more.
XL know their backs are against the wall, so they chase so far, but now the tides have turned. IgNar's picked Expect.
But he just spits Expect into the back of his team. The stopwatch will save him for the moment. There's no mana on Jessica or Mystiques. Expect can't do it versus 3. The GA comes up just in time for him to revive to his demise. Tries to take out Trick, cannot do it, and Schalke take the kill.
And in the end, Schalke just get more and more and more. Already here, this is what Mickey was waiting for. He got his Youmuu's Ghostblade to come in for this fight with the extra damage. They find the initial engage and realize, okay, Upset just went way too far forward. IgNar could not get there for the Devour. Once that kill is made, they say, this is our only chance. It's 5 versus 4. Schalke have been on the map so long. They have so much money they have yet to spend. So it's a nice engage there from Expect, using the minion to get that slice and dice on towards Abbedagge. Unfortunately for him, Tahm Kench going to make that very difficult. And then Mickey and the rest of Excel really try committing hard, but it's just so almost impossible to kill Schalke. Odoamne, consistent shields. Trick, waiting for his shield to come back up, waiting for the heal off his W as well. Like, what can you do here?
And how do you escape from IgNar when you just continue to land those tongue lashes? Flashes in. At this point, you thought for a second maybe he'd Expect back into his team, but still Expect just goes down.
Yeah, I mean, Odoamne uses the Mantra W onto the Renekton, so he gets a big burst of HP back on towards this Karma. It's one of the reasons why, you know, tanky Karma builds are so incredibly frustrating. Not only can you not burst them, even after you take them low, they're just going to heal up more, and that is really the crux of this entire Schalke Karma.
Yeah, and we said it would take Schalke the second Baron to close out this game. Well, 29 minutes in, it's going to spawn pretty darn... in fact, it just spawned, and there's an 8,000 gold lead for Schalke. So XL might take the fight. We've seen if Upset totally mispositions, they can win a fight, but right now, that doesn't look to be happening. Glacial Prism lands onto his Mystiques, who dodges away. On the hunt was used as well there by Jessica. And you can see it's too easy for Schalke to find these fights.
Yep, Schalke just can immediately go back towards this Baron. There's no way Excel can try to contest this objective. We'll just have to draw the line around one of their remaining structures in their base. Not that there's all too much, and they're going to be relying so much on Caedrel's ultimate cooldown. Although right now, they have found Abbedagge, who does have his flash, does have his ultimate, and does have Odoamne on the way.
Odo coming down, Baron goes down, Abbedagge going in with the World Ender, straight onto Jessica, but that's a great spell shield from the Sivir. Expect though is already dead, and now the reset happens. Abyssal Void juice from IgNar, they're coming down to the fight, and Abbedagge and Odo will turn this around because now they have reinforcements. The battle lines were drawn by XL, but Schalke just runs straight over them.
Abbedagge is unkillable, charging forward on the Aatrox. Caedrel knows his days on the Rift are numbered. Abbedagge will get another, and Schalke will get the win.
And that is the total knockout there for Schalke. They're looking for the win. Pretty easy take for them. Only the Nexus Towers stand between them and that sweet 6-4 scoreline. They're going to start off the second half of their split with a dominant win here against XL. And they'll let the minions do it for them.
In typical G2 fashion, Schalke win the game.
Yeah.
Really good stuff from them. Honestly, I loved their composition. It was so interesting to watch them never die. It was just so much fun, you know?
Always fun. You had to feel that XL's comp was just going to time out throughout the game. They were running out of steam. Early game, Caedrel did a great job of setting up Expect, but Schalke were always ready to react. They were picking up little bits of gold here and there with plates, with Kleptomancy stacks, and it was just too easy for them to stay in the game until their comp came online.
And it just seemed like Schalke were always on the same page. Yes, they maybe had some questionable calls, you know, the very early Dragon fight that they had to, you know, bail out of, but they were always so united in what moves they were going to be making, and they reached this point where they decided, we can just turn it around, we can find this pick and just chase these guys all the way across the map. It was that full chase from bottom lane all the way to the enemy blue buff, but they realized our comp is just online right now. There's nothing that XL can do to stop us.
Commiserations, of course, to XL. They are now 1-9. You have to feel they are no longer playing for playoffs. They're going to try and play spoiler for some of these other teams. I don't think we've seen, well, 7 and 9 is a possibility. Any more losses will start putting them down towards the bottom of the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a very hard road for them if they are going to be able to make it. Of course, they do need a change. Oh, no high
I went for a high five with Odo and he ignored me.
He's looking back at us like, what are you guys talking about?
It's because in Newsflash, I put a video of him dancing. That's why. That's why.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's a very funny video. If you haven't seen Newsflash, go and give it a watch. Reviews all of the LEC
So
for the week. We're going to check out the fight that led to Schalke's first Baron before we go into our post-game interview. And it was a good fight, as you said, Ender. It was just that chase potential and the flank potential from Abbedagge.
I love this. The whole game just seemed like Abbedagge was on the front line just charging towards Excel. Excel running away in fear. But in the meantime, I do love in this play, especially IgNar finding this chase down onto Caedrel, using that cleanse to break free of the ultimate. And then Caedrel finds himself on the wrong side of the wall. Was always expect trying to jump in, trying to find something for his team, but ultimately in these fights, Excel could maybe get 1 kill, but then the rest of the team was just going to mop them up on Schalke's side.
Yeah, great stuff all around from Schalke. It's their first 2-0 of the splits as well, so winning ways seem to have returned for this team. They look pretty good at the moment. They did only play Vitality and XL this week, with Vitality not looking too incredible and XL being at the bottom of the table, but you take it where you can get.
Yeah, I mean, you say that too, but Schalke do look like genuine playoff contenders right now. Sitting, I believe, tied for 4th place. This will put them up just a little bit over the competition near them in the standings currently, but this team just feels very... I said it before, but they feel like they're on the same page, especially when you look at Trick and IgNar roaming around the map together and trying to make plays. They understood their win conditions from the draft as well, too. They knew that in these extended fights, they were always going to have the upper hand. And what we saw in this game was so many extended, long fights where you just could not actually kill them. They're impossible to die.
You do just always have to play to your composition in games like that, though. If you guys want to get involved in our Kia Player of the Game votes, you can go on over to @lolesports on Twitter. Strick, Abbedagge, and Upset, who are your options. I can see Abbedagge looking towards us expectantly, hoping perhaps that he gets the Player of the Game. But if you were to give it to someone, where'd you go?
See, I've spent a long time biasing the viewers to vote for people. Today, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say they're all good votes.
Vote for Trick is the best. Let's go to our interview with Abbedagge.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Abbedagge, for joining me after the victory. Congratulations for you. That's a 2-0 rig. Really good for you guys. Looking at Excel's composition today, you knew that they would be playing topside in the early game. So how did this impact your plan going into the early game?
Yeah, it looked like the typical Excel draft with like Renekton into like any matchup. So our plan was kind of, I mean, we thought we had like winning matchups kind of everywhere, like mid and top. So if you just farm until like a certain point, then they wouldn't have any win condition.
Great.
Yeah.
And they still managed to pick up some kills in the early game, even the Herald. So do you think something went wrong here?
We had a bit of misplays on like Dragon and stuff, like miscommunication, where we lost a lot of tempo and then we got behind from that. So we had to kind of give them something in the early. But our game plan still went like our way kind of, so we weren't too worried.
Yeah, you knew you would be able to bounce back afterwards, right?
Sorry?
You knew you would be able to bounce back afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
we thought we were in a really good position after like 20 minutes maybe.
Great. Now, we talked before the game about the similarities there is between your champion pool and Mickey's champion pool. He was playing Qiyana this game. First, were you expecting that? And second, how is it to play against Qiyana in the mid lane?
You just have to be really careful of getting too chunked in the lane, because then you get like in one-shot range. But I knew as Aatrox, if I just get to like level 9 and get my items, they have full AD and there won't be any opportunity for them to kill me or for Qiyana to even contest me 1v1. So it felt kind of comfortable.
All right, well, GG anyway once again. We'll see you next week against SK. How do you think this one will go?
I think we are doing pretty good right now, and it's not looking that good for SK. I think they're in the slump or something, so I think we're still pretty confident that we're going to win. I mean, last time was really close. I think we should have won that game, so this time we'll get it.
All right, well, we'll see next time. I wish you good luck on this one, and thank you again for joining.